South Korea just ended 40 years of bear torture permanently. A tiny golden frog that went extinct in the wild is finally going home, and humanity just built more solar power in a single year than the entire European Union uses. This is the best good news from February 2026. Let's go, and stick around, because the last story took 15 years of patient, quiet work, and it just paid off in the most beautiful way. For 40 years, bears in South Korea lived in cages so small they couldn't turn around. Farmers cut into their bodies to drain bile from their gallbladders, a fluid used in traditional medicine. At the peak, about 1,000 bears were trapped on these farms. But on January 1st of this year, South Korea made it illegal. Done. Over. Anyone caught running a bile farm now faces up to 5 years in prison. About 200 bears are still in captivity, and rescue groups are working right now to move every one of them into sanctuaries. The ones already rescued, they're climbing trees for the first time, eating fresh fruit, exploring open ground they've never touched before. 40 years of cruelty, ended by one law, and those bears are never going back. Now here's one I genuinely didn't see coming. You know methane. It's the gas we burn for heat and cooking. It's also one of the most dangerous greenhouse gases on the planet. Well, a team of scientists in Spain just figured out how to turn it into medicine. They designed a tool using iron, one of the cheapest, most common metals on Earth, and powered the whole thing with a regular LED light. With that simple setup, they cracked open methane molecules and transformed them into complex chemicals used in real drugs. They even made a hormone therapy medication directly from methane. That has never been done before. The ingredients are dirt cheap, the process is clean, and it could turn one of our biggest pollution problems into a pharmacy. Alright, this next one is pure numbers, and they are staggering. Every year, the world installs new solar panels and wind turbines. In 2025, we didn't just break the record, we demolished it. Over 800 gigawatts of new solar and wind went online in a single year. To put that in perspective, that's roughly equal to the entire electricity generating capacity of the European Union. And that number has tripled since 2021. Battery prices have dropped to a third of what they cost 3 years ago. Electric cars now make up more than a quarter of all car sales on Earth. The economics are locked in. No policy change, no political headwind is slowing this down. The clean energy transition isn't coming, it's here, and it's moving faster than almost anyone predicted. Now let's talk about something most people have never even heard of. Quantum computers are supposed to be the future. Machines so powerful they could crack problems that would take regular computers millions of years. But they have a massive weakness. They're incredibly fragile. The tiniest vibration or temperature shift can destroy a calculation. Now physicists in Norway may have just found the fix. They discovered a material, an alloy of two metals called niobium and rhenium, that does something no material has done before. It conducts electricity with zero resistance and carries information through something called electron spin at the same time. Think of it like a highway that moves data and power simultaneously, without losing a single drop of energy. Most materials like this only work near absolute zero, colder than outer space. This one works at a much warmer temperature, which makes it far more practical to actually build with. If other labs confirm this, it could make quantum computers dramatically more stable and efficient. Scientists are calling it a holy grail, and for the first time, that might not be an exaggeration. Here's a number that quietly changed everything. Since 1945, countries have detonated nuclear weapons more than 2,000 times. Bombs in the ocean, bombs in the desert, bombs underground. But on January 14th of this year, Earth passed a milestone almost nobody noticed. We hit the longest stretch without a single nuclear test in the entire history of nuclear weapons. More than 8 years and 4 months without one explosion. The last known test was North Korea's in 2017. The previous record was the gap between Pakistan's tests in 1998 and North Korea's in 2006. We just beat it. And here's the beautiful part. Every single day that passes now sets a brand new record. The streak is fragile. Tensions around the world could break it tomorrow. But right now, today, we're living in the longest nuclear peace humanity has ever known. Okay, this next one has numbers that don't even sound real. The World Health Organization just finished one of the most comprehensive cancer studies ever done. 185 countries, 36 cancer types. And the headline finding is this: nearly 4 in 10 cancer cases worldwide are preventable. Not treatable, preventable, meaning they don't have to happen at all. Out of all new cancer cases in 2022, about 7.1 million were linked to causes we already know how to deal with. Smoking alone was behind 15%, infections, 10%, alcohol, over 3%, Three cancer types, lung, stomach, and cervical, made up nearly half of all preventable cases. And here's what makes this hopeful, not depressing. We already have the tools. Tobacco regulation works. HPV vaccines work. Cleaner air saves lives. This isn't a call for some future miracle. It's proof that millions of cancer cases can be stopped with what we already have today. This next one stopped me cold. In parts of Europe, there's a massive bird of prey called the Eastern Imperial eagle. Enormous wingspan, fierce golden eyes. It appears on Serbia's national coat of arms, a symbol of the country itself. 7 years ago, there was exactly one breeding pair left in all of Serbia. A conservation group called the Bird Protection and Study Society of Serbia refused to accept that. They tracked every nest, guarded them through storms, and they got help from an unexpected place, Hungary, where decades of protection had grown their eagle population from just 20 pairs in the 1980s to 550 today. Young eagles started flying south across the border on their own, finding new territory in Serbia's plains. Today, Serbia has 19 breeding pairs. 10 of them successfully raised chicks just this past year, from 1 to 19, because a handful of people decided that extinction was not an option. This next story starts with 4 million. Off the coast of eastern England, something enormous is happening under the water. Conservationists are dropping 4 million oysters into the North Sea to build Europe's largest restored reef. They're using 40,000 specially designed clay structures, each one packed with about 100 baby oysters, to create an interconnected living reef system along the Norfolk coast. Britain lost 95% of its native oysters since the 1800s, mostly from overfishing. But oysters aren't just food, they're nature's water filters. A single oyster can clean around 200 liters of seawater every single day. Multiply that by 4 million, and you've got a living machine that strips pollution out of the water, builds habitat for crabs and fish and eels, and brings a coastline back from the dead. 4 million oysters, 40,000 reef structures, one ecosystem about to breathe again. Now imagine you're in an emergency room with a brain injury, and every second matters. Getting a brain scan is stressful enough on its own. But most people don't realize what happens after the MRI is done. It can take hours, sometimes days, for a specialist to read it. In an emergency, that delay can mean the difference between full recovery and permanent damage. Researchers at the University of Michigan just built an AI system that reads brain MRIs in seconds, not minutes, seconds. It can spot a wide range of brain conditions and instantly flag which patients need urgent care right now. It doesn't replace doctors, it acts like a first filter, making sure the most critical cases jump to the front of the line. For hospitals in rural areas or countries where there simply aren't enough brain specialists, this could save countless lives. A scan that used to sit in a queue for hours now gets answered before the patient leaves the room. Alright, this is the one I told you to stay for. In the rainforests of Panama, there used to be a tiny bright yellow frog. It's called the Panamanian golden frog. It's Panama's national animal, beloved, iconic, and unmistakable. Then around 2009, a devastating fungus called chytrid tore through Central America and wiped them out. Every single one gone from the wild completely. For more than 15 years, the only golden frogs left on Earth lived in captivity, carefully bred by scientists at the Smithsonian, kept alive one generation at a time. Researchers raised them, protected them, and waited for the day they could do what everyone hoped was still possible. This February, the Smithsonian announced they are finally sending golden frogs home. For the first time in over 15 years, these frogs are being released back into the wild, with monitoring teams, with protective measures, and with enormous hope. 15 years of quiet, patient work, hundreds of scientists across multiple institutions, all for one tiny yellow frog that the world almost forgot. It's going home. Good news like this rarely makes the front page. There's another one on your screen right now. The world is better than you think.